Level 1. The Lookout. You are 12 years old, standing on a corner of a neighborhood the rest of the city forgot. The street gang that runs this block has just offered you your very first job. The job is simple. When a police cruiser turns onto the block, you whistle, 2 notes, loud and sharp, and every dealer on this corner melts away before the car ever arrives. American street gangs have used child lookouts for decades, from Chicago to Los Angeles to Baltimore. Researchers who study gang hierarchy call this the bottom rung of a criminal corporation, and business is steady. Lookout pay: $100 per week. The gang pays you around $100 a week, sometimes far less. Sociologists who tracked a Chicago gang's actual books found the lookouts earned below minimum wage for the risk they carried. The older members know exactly why they want someone your age. A 12-year-old caught watching a corner usually faces a juvenile citation. An adult doing the same job faces a felony. They buy you sneakers. They buy you dinner when your refrigerator is empty. Prosecutors and gang interventionists agree on one point: recruitment almost never starts with crime. It starts with belonging. What looks like easy pocket money is really a criminal apprenticeship. You tell yourself you are just standing on a public sidewalk, whistling at passing cars, but every gang investigator in the country will tell you the same thing. The lookout job is an audition. 6 months in, you can identify every unmarked car, every shift change, every officer's face on site. Nobody taught you this in a classroom. The street runs its own school, and you are enrolled. Level 2. The runner. You proved you can stand still and stay quiet. Now, at 13, the gang trusts you to move. And what you move is the product that keeps the entire operation alive. You carry small packages from a stash house to the corner, a few blocks at a time, never asking what is inside them. Everyone involved already understands that you know. Police reports call kids like you runners. Street gangs use minors to move drugs for the same reason they used you as a lookout. When you are caught, the system goes easier on you. U.S. gang members. Over 850,000 nationwide estimate. Federal researchers estimate more than 850,000 active gang members across the United States. Studies consistently find a large share of them joined before their 15th birthday, just like you did. Your first arrest comes on a cold Tuesday afternoon. You are 14, an officer's hand on your shoulder, and you spend one night in a juvenile intake room that smells like bleach. A judge gives you probation and a 10-minute lecture. The gang gives you $200 and a nickname. You remember which one felt like respect, and so does every kid before you. Your mother finds the cash rolled inside a sock and cries at the kitchen table. You lie to her face for the first time that night. It gets easier every single time afterward. By 15, you have outgrown errands. The older members start talking about making your position official. In gang language, that means getting jumped in, and everyone on the block knows what that costs. Level 3. Jumped in. There is a ceremony for becoming a full gang member, and it is not a handshake. Nearly every major American street gang uses some version of the same brutal ritual. They call it being jumped in. 6 members, 60 seconds, and you are not allowed to fall. You wake up on the pavement with a split lip and a new family. Gang researchers describe initiation beatings as a loyalty filter. If you will take a beating just to get in, the thinking goes, then you will take a criminal charge to stay in. You get the tattoo that marks your set that same week. Detectives photograph ink exactly like yours every day because a gang tattoo is a confession you wear for the rest of your life. The rules arrive with the colors. Never speak to police. Never cross your own set. Answer every call, day or night, no questions. Break any rule, and the punishment comes from the inside. The phrase members use is blood in, blood out. Former gang members and prosecutors both confirm it is less a rule than a warning. Leaving is complicated, and sometimes leaving is fatal. But nobody is talking about leaving tonight. There is a party in your honor, music shaking a crowded living room, and for the first time in your life, you feel genuinely chosen. You are 16 years old, and you finally belong to something bigger than yourself. That single sentence is the entire recruiting pitch of every street gang in America, and it just worked on you. Level 4, the corner. Full members earn, and earning starts on the corner. This is the level Hollywood loves to glamorize, and it is the level the actual numbers completely destroy. You work a drug corner in 12-hour shifts through rain and heat, watching for police and rivals at the same time. It is retail work, except retail work with a body count. Economists Stephen Levitt and Sudhir Venkatesh audited a Chicago gang's actual financial ledgers. Street-level dealers averaged $3.30 an hour. Flipping burgers legally would have paid them more. The pay is bad and the odds are worse. Rivals rob you once at gunpoint and take everything you are holding, and then the gang bills you personally for the entire loss. Chance of being killed: 1 in 4 over 4 years on the corner. That same Chicago study tracked what happened to corner workers over 4 years. Roughly 1 in 4 of them was killed. Those odds are worse than a soldier faced in most modern wars. You catch your first adult charge at 18, possession with intent to distribute. A public defender juggling 90 other cases negotiates your plea deal in a hallway in about 11 minutes. 8 months inside a state correctional facility, the gang runs the yard the exact same way it runs the block, and your reputation actually grows while you are away. You come home with a felony record that locks you out of most legal employment. Criminologists call this the trap door. Every conviction makes the gang look more like the only option left. So you return to the corner, except now you are watching the block captain instead of the police. You have stopped studying the streets and started studying the ladder above you. What looks like fast money, respect is really minimum wage, maximum risk. This is the lie of the corner, and researchers have measured it precisely. Almost nobody at street level ever gets rich. They stay because the next level up is where the money finally lives. Level 5. The soldier. Moving up means the gang needs more than your time now. It needs your hands. This is the level where the choices stop being small and the consequences stop being reversible. A rival crew presses into your territory that summer, and the order comes down from above. You are expected to answer it. Soldiers who hesitate in this world do not stay soldiers. You do what is asked of you on a dark side street, and this video will not dress it up. Somebody's son goes into a hospital that night because of your hands. The retaliation cycle begins that same week. Criminologists who map gang shootings find that most are not actually about drug money at all. They are payback for payback, running years deep. Gang homicides, about 2,000 per year in the U.S. The FBI and National Youth Gang surveys attribute roughly 2,000 homicides every year to gang violence in the United States. Nearly all of them start with a week exactly like yours. Felon in possession, 10 years federal maximum. You carry a pistol everywhere now, and with your record, that alone is a federal crime. Felon in possession carries up to 10 years, and prosecutors love how simple that case is. The block starts saying your name with respect folded into it. Younger kids watch how you walk the same way you once watched the older members. The cycle quietly recruits itself. Detectives know your face now. You have a page in the regional gang database, your tattoos cataloged, your associates mapped on a corkboard. You are officially a person of interest. Inside the set, though, violence works like a resume. The shot callers above you have noticed that you follow orders and keep your mouth shut. A promotion is quietly coming your way. Level 6. Block Captain. At 21, you get your own corner, your own crew, and your first taste of management. A street gang is a business, and you have just made middle management. You run 5 or 6 workers now, most of them teenagers doing exactly what you did at their age. You set the shifts, handle the count, and answer for every single dollar. Investigators who flip gang bookkeepers describe the same structure in nearly every city. Half of the money moves up the chain before anyone below gets paid. The corporation always eats first. Discipline is your job now. When a 16-year-old comes up short on the count, you are the one who decides what happens to him. You remember being him very clearly. The money finally becomes real. A few $1,000s a month in cash you cannot explain to anyone. You buy a used car outright and tell people you work in construction. Your crew takes the arrests while you stay clean on paper. This is the deliberate design of every gang hierarchy on Earth. Risk flows downhill and the money flows up. Then one of your workers, 15 years old, is shot on your corner on a Friday night. He survives it. His mother finds you at the hospital and says absolutely nothing. You tell yourself you never pulled any trigger that night. Years from now, federal prosecutors will use a very different word for your role in it. They will call it foreseeable. Still, the machine rolls forward, and the lieutenant above you has been getting careless with money. Leadership notices everything. In this world, vacancies open suddenly, and you are standing next in line. Level 7. The lieutenant. Now you manage territory instead of a corner, and supply instead of shifts. You are 2 levels from the top of the pyramid, and 1 mistake from federal attention. You oversee several blocks at once, coordinate with suppliers, and move serious weight in product and cash. You have not personally stood on a corner in more than a year. The money needs washing now, so it flows through a barbershop and a car detailing business that almost never has customers. On paper, you are just a quiet small business partner. Your monthly take: $25,000 cash, untaxed. Mid-level managers in documented gang prosecutions pulled in $25,000 a month, sometimes more. For the first time in your life, money is genuinely not a problem. Everything else now is. You cycle through cheap, prepaid phones and speak in a code that fools nobody important. Federal agents have been translating street code on wiretaps since the 1980s. Yours is not special. Because you are no longer a local problem, an FBI and ATF gang task force has quietly opened a file with your name on it, and federal cases are built slowly on purpose. Federal wiretap. Title III, court-authorized interception. A federal judge signs a Title III wiretap order, and every phone you touch becomes a microphone for the government. You will not learn this happened for another 2 full years. The paranoia settles in around this level, and every veteran of gang life describes it identically. Every friend becomes a possible informant. Every quiet day starts to feel like a setup. You trust almost no one anymore, which turns out to be wise. One of the men you eat dinner with every single week is already wearing a recording device for the task force. Then the shot caller above you catches life on a gun and conspiracy case that seems to come from nowhere. The set gathers in a basement, and the block waits for one name. Yours. Level 8. The shot caller. This is the top of the ladder you started climbing at 12 years old. The whole block moves on your word now. So does the target that is growing on your back. You never touch product anymore. You never touch guns. You speak quietly, and things happen blocks away, carried out by people who have never once met you. This is what insulation means. You settle disputes, approve promotions, set prices, and greenlight retaliation with a single sentence. Federal prosecutors have a specific name for this exact kind of authority. They call it running a criminal enterprise. What looks like an untouchable king is really defendant number 1. Here's the trap built into the top of every gang hierarchy in America. The insulation that protects you from street-level charges is the exact evidence that convicts you in federal court. The RICO Act, 1970, Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Congress passed the RICO Act in 1970 to dismantle the mafia. Since the 90s, federal prosecutors have aimed it squarely at street gangs. Under RICO, your words themselves become the crime. Every order you ever gave, every shooting you ever approved, every dollar that ever moved up to your hands. RICO stitches all of it together into one single charge called the conspiracy. Meanwhile, the street itself wants your seat. 2 rival crews and at least 1 ambitious man inside your own set would all profit from your funeral. Kings in this world very rarely retire. You are 29 years old now. You hold money you cannot spend openly and power you cannot enjoy in public, and you have not slept a full night in 3 years. One morning, your driver takes a different route without asking first, and your stomach drops through the floor. It was nothing, just road work. This is what winning feels like at the top. What you do not know is that the task force now holds 18 months of your phone calls, 3 informants inside your set, and a federal grand jury that met last Thursday. Level 9. The fall. It ends the way federal gang cases always end. All at once, before sunrise, with battering rams hitting 40 different doors across the city at exactly the same time. 6 in the morning, your front door comes off its hinges, and agents in green raid jackets flood the hallway with rifles up, shouting a single word: warrant. Across the city, the same scene repeats at the homes of 42 members of your set, from corner kids to captains. The federal indictment has been sealed for over a month. In a federal courtroom, a clerk reads the indictment aloud, count after count after count. 17 years of your life, from the lookout whistle to the last order, translated into charges. Bail is denied in 90 seconds. Federal detention is where you learn the second lesson of every RICO case. The government does not need everyone to talk. It only needs a few. One by one, your co-defendants take plea deals, and men who took beatings to join the set now line up to testify against it. Loyalty, it turns out, was always a one-way street. Federal conviction rate. Over 90% of all federal defendants, more than 90% of federal defendants are convicted, the vast majority by pleading guilty. Your lawyer lays the math out on a legal pad. Trial is a lottery you pay for in decades. You go to trial anyway, because in your world, shot callers do not plead. For 3 weeks, you sit and listen to your own voice on courtroom speakers, giving orders you barely remember giving. The jury deliberates for 11 hours. When the foreperson finally stands with the paper, you are 30 years old and you already know what it says. Guilty on all counts. The sentence, life plus 25 years. The judge sentences you to life plus 25 years, and the federal system abolished parole decades ago. The 12-year-old who whistled at police cars will die in government custody. They send you to a high-security penitentiary 1,500 miles from your block. Your mother can afford the trip about once a year, and the visits get a little shorter every time. Back home, it takes the set exactly 9 days to replace you. A new shot caller, a new corner crew, and a new 12-year-old on your old corner, whistling at police cars. Every rung of this ladder ends in a courtroom, a cell, or a funeral, and the block forgets you fast. Drop the next role or crime you want broken down in the comments.